the notification goes out for a minute. Where you guys are in a good place. Hmm. Let's crank this up. Peace and blessings, everyone that's making their way. What's happening? Peace and blessings. You already know. This is the Mighty Monday Meltdown 2.0. My name is Adonis D. Johnson. I am the creator, right, of I Am My Life Coach, which is a self-help mental awareness tool. It helps you, right, ground yourself, right? I believe that that's what we're looking to do so that we can push forward, push forward. Hello, Miss Phoenix Irby. Welcome to the room, you guys. Listen, we got some work to do. I want to break this thing down. I want to help us in many areas, right? Discover some of your hidden potential, right? Three things I look to focus on. I'm sure you guys already know. Light your fire. We look for power. What's going on? Peace and blessings room. Listen, I have to tell you guys this, right? This is YouTube. It broadcasts all over the world. I don't know who's getting on this broadcast, but don't come into a room unless you know why you're in the room, right? Sometimes you're not going to be in the best room. You're going to be placed in the worst room, the worstest conditions. That's what's going to bring out the best in you. You don't get to better areas, then you'll be a copycat. No, you come to the worst areas and you know what not to do, right? And for many of us, we've been holding back, right? We've been holding back, right? And it's about time for us to find out now what we need to do at this point. All I want to talk about is this point. Bigger, better, greater. That's the direction we're going in, right? How do we move from the places we are in right now individually? Well, why do I say individually? I believe in this broadcast, you're going to need to take all your attention and you're going to need to put your attention on you. You're going to need to put your attention on you. You're going to have to put your mind on you. Whatever you focus on, is what your power is at right now. And a lot of times we like to watch everyone else. We want to hear this pastor. We want to hear this teacher. We want to hear what's going on in the government. We want to hear the president, right? We want to hear people that's great influencers, right? Well, for me personally, I come as an individual. I come on my own grounds, on my own terms, and I look to try to do what it is I was told to do, and that is let people know about the good news. The good news is it's not over for you. The good news is it's not over for me. I taught an amazing lesson Saturday on Facebook. It was I can't even think of what it was called, but it was so amazing. It just blew me away, right? But the reason why we're here is so that we can kind of reposition ourselves. This is the beginning of the week, right? The beginning of the week, right? And for some of us, this week means WEAK. That means you're weak right now because you might be financially weak. You might be emotionally weak. You might be physically weak, right? You might be mentally weak, right? You might be spiritually weak. I don't know, but I know that there's a week, right? That means what are you going to do in the days ahead, right? What are you going to do in the days ahead, right? And so for me, I have to always remind myself, what exactly is it that I want out of myself, right? I believe in three different areas that's really key. Personal development, right? You have to take some time out and find out what part of your life is weak and how can you strengthen those areas. Is it communication, right? Is it listening more? Some of us, we might need to listen more. Remember, we started this year with three things that I gave you, and that was to learn, to listen, to learn, and to execute, right? We didn't need to do too much talking. We needed to listen, we needed to learn, and we needed to execute, right? Because you can't talk and learn. You have to listen and learn. Learn from what somebody else done been through so that you will know how to take what you need. People don't need to take everything. You just need to find the right thing for your formula. Everybody's accountable for cooking their own dishes, right? Man, that's like fire. If you see fire and emojis jumping up, that's because we come in by power by fire. If you lighten your fire, that means you can hear me. You understand exactly what I'm saying. If you're not lighting fire, that means you in the dark, and that's the distraction. So please make sure that you know who's who when you reading comments, because every comment ain't a reflection of you or a reflection of me. It's a reflection of the individual, right? And we're trying to show them that we can light our fire and they can see our light, right? And your light shines from within. It's eternal, right? Eternal light from within who you are. We talking inner peace, inner strength, right? Right? So this is an inner concept, right? Everyone not going to get this transformation, but I came on this broadcast for a transformation. If I can transform myself right before you, then that means you can transform yourself as well. This message is not for everybody. That's my disclaimer. This message ain't for everybody, but it is for somebody. And that somebody might not be you, but it might be somebody connected to you. And sometimes we neglect or we fail to receive the extra blessings or the extra gems or the extra tools that's needed because we're so busy looking at one thing, but in reality, we have to deal with other things. We have to deal with multiple people. For me, I believe that I have a calling, and that calling will cause other people with the exact same calling to be called. And this will be considered to be a time out, right? A time out on titles, a time out on position, a time out on what you don't have, right? This is a time out so we can discover what you do have, right? So we take the time out, a time out of our lives just to kind of make some readjustments. We come in at the 7 o'clock hour. We're broadcasting live from the Midwest, from Chicago, right? And personal development is one of those topics that I said putting attention back on yourself. So I don't ever want to lose focus. It's not just about you. Most of this message is for me, right? I need it more than you need it, right? But if I can get it while you're present, then we both can learn from each other as he again continues to download things in me that it might come through me and allows you to receive something that you can go back and do what it is you need to do in your own environment for those that participate in your life, right? Those that makes up your circle, those that makes up your friendships or the community that you've been called to. This, hopefully, we can build this thing up, and this can be an organic environment, and we can prosper together. So one thing is personal development. The second thing is personal growth. Personal growth is very important because we should always be able to check back in and see, am I growing or am I in a holding pattern, right? Many of us, we're in holding patterns because of the people that's around you right now. They're slowing up the progress, right? So keep in mind, you guys, as I'm not able to really see comments, but some of these comments, these people be in other countries, right? As I looked at the statistics, and some of the people be like 14, 15 years old, right? So they don't really have real issues going on. I mean, I'm not going to say what they don't have. I'm going to say that people have to deal with what they have to deal with. Just make sure that you don't be spilling out your emotions online on anybody's broadcast, right? Because that's too much time, right? Too much time is being taken, and at some point we don't know who's from who, right? But I can tell you this right now. I know I need to get what I need out of this. I know I need to shift. I know I need to go higher within who I am, and sometimes he give it to me just because of you. So I'm grateful that I get to show up because I'm in need of some things, right? And I only can pray and ask him about it, but in order to get me what I need, I have to be able to give him what he needs. I have to be able to show him, not just private, but I need to also show him publicly right now. And so my public appearance is this appearance right now. But the fact that you are here with me right now, that means only one thing can happen. If somebody walk out this broadcast different from the way they came on this broadcast, then I succeeded, we succeeded, and we did what we were supposed to do. Let's be clear. Everybody ain't going, okay? Everybody ain't going, especially not at the same time. But we can practice. I believe if you ask somebody, practice makes you what? And you ask somebody to finish the sentence, They will say perfect. No, practice do not make you perfect. If you was perfect, you wouldn't need to practice. Practice makes you better. I look to be better every day. I look to be better every time I have a chance to open up my mouth. I don't know what I'm gonna say, but unfortunately, I'm excited right now. I'm more at peace with just allowing him to just flow out of me the way that he do, right? So this is not rehearsed. This is not something that I'm looking to say, hey, I know this is gonna help you. I'm saying what I'm saying because I know it's gonna help me, right? Everyone that's on this broadcast or follow me, most of the time they are in different arenas, different brackets. I have educated people, masters. They excelling in education, right? PhDs, doctrines, and all type of certifications over to people whose GEDs or even dropped out of school. I have millionaire friends that literally dropped out of school and they doing very well as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, right? Me, myself, I am an entrepreneur. I own several businesses myself, but that doesn't make me better than anyone else. I believe it all works together. I believe the ones over here need something over here and those over here need something over here, right? I believe that we come in and somehow there can be a shift in the environment, a shift in the energy that allows us all to experience personal growth, right? And that growth comes just by being present. I don't think you have to do anything, right? So I just told you, first thing is personal development. Then we talk a little bit about personal growth. And then my favorite, right, is self empowerment. I believe it's going to take you to empower you. I believe that every last one of us, right? I believe that we have the power to do whatever we desire to do, but unfortunately some of us been disabled, right? Disabled. And the reason we've been disabled was due to others. We was handled wrong. Now I don't blame anyone for this, right? We're not responsible for our childhood. We're not responsible for where our parents took us to, right? We're not responsible for the things that happened as a child. But you, as an adult, you are 100% responsible for what takes place now. And why do I say responsible, right? That's because it's time to make some decisions. It's time to alter. It's time. Stop trying to remodel the house and let's remodel how you do business. Let's stop trying to study someone else and let's study you. Let's study the why to you. Why do you do some of the things that you do? Let's take this thing from outwardly and let's turn it inwardly and let's find out, why do everyone says, I'm working on myself, right? I'm working on myself. What does that look like? What's the scope? How do I work on myself, right? If you was teaching me and I was following you, what does working on yourself look like? Let's be more specific. Why is there work that needs to be done on you? Why aren't you complete? These is questions not only have I asked myself, but I continue to ask myself, question myself. No one gonna interrogate me like I'm gonna interrogate me. And I'm encouraging you to let you know that it works. For me, growing up in my age bracket, we was taught, don't talk to yourself. We was taught, basically listen more to what somebody else is telling you, but do not ask questions. And what I discovered, right, is that the reason you shouldn't ask questions is because the person that you was asking the question didn't have an answer. That's the age we're in right now. These young people, right? They ask a lot of questions. You can ask Siri, you can ask Google, you can ask Alexis, any question you want, and they will give you an answer. But when it comes down to a human being, you ask someone, what makes you happy? What is it that you're desiring out of what you're participating in? Where it is you're going in life? How long is it going to take for you to own the house of your dreams? When are you going on your dream vacation? When are you going to are you driving your dream car? What is holding you back from driving your dream car? What is it going to take to start the business you're looking for, right? How much do you need? Do you have a business plan? What resources you looking for? What skills are you lacking? What tools can you use? Who can assist you? What does your support system look like? Who believes in you, right? And the list goes on and on. And all of these questions are typical questions, but The only one can answer these questions is you. You're going to have to answer these questions. But I like to believe that we can start it over. We can start over. I believe instead of trying to expand and add on, I believe in not going this way. I believe going this way. I believe in tearing everything down. I believe in starting over. I believe if I ain't talked to you in 30 days, I don't know you. I believe you can change in 3 days. Jesus died on one day and came back 3 days later. I believe that when you start over, everything should roll over. It should be totally new, right? You are a new individual. It's just like a snake. When a snake sheds his skin, it comes out of what it was in. It comes out of what it was in. And for many of us, we haven't came out because we wasn't properly trained. We wasn't properly prepared so that we can deal with the hits that comes around. And for many of us, your mind is still looking for someone and we need to train. The reason we're underperforming is because we're not properly preparing ourselves. We're not training ourselves for the results that we look to have. And then when we get excited about something, we go to share what we're excited about, not knowing that this is a conflict of interest, right? So self-empowerment is something that's just, is so unique because when you empower yourself, you never seen yourself perform the way that you perform. And this is why I'm really excited about self-empowerment, because you want to be excited about what you participating in, right? Anything that you do, you want to show up and give it your all. Well, why don't we give it our all? Because we show up as spectators. We show up looking for somebody else to give it their all, right? Meaning they done figured it out. So why not just go watch them? Why not just go look at them? But see, the creator understands the value of something that you create. And for many of us, we have not created what we actually should have created. The first person you should have created should be you. That's why it's important we start over. See, a new perspective requires a new way of thinking. But the old way is why some of us cannot get what we're looking for. This is why we cannot find the right spouse. This is why the divorce rate is so up right now. This is why people are walking away from the altar of making vows. It's because 3 strings, it states, is 3 chords is not easily broken, but that's a vow, right? That's a vow. 3 chords not easily broken. But where did you get your chord from? How strong is your chord? See, I can't get to your chord till I first discover my chord. And when I understand what a chord is, it's what I breathe from, where I get my information from. It's where the spirit comes from. It's where I'm going. It's my ability to create the things I desire to live in, businesses, conversation, relationships. And the list goes on, right? When you become a creator, that shows you your chord. But for many of us, we have got our chords cut. So you don't get to see the 3 chords or the 3 strings, right? And I was just gonna crack a joke, but I can't give you that one yet. Not that one. So listen, you guys, I just wanted to heat us up and get us going in the right direction. You must know where your chord is at. Who plug in before somebody can plug into you. You need to know what you plugged into. It doesn't matter if your religion is Muslim. It doesn't matter if you're Baptist. It doesn't matter if you're not even claiming any denomination. It doesn't matter. What matters is the fact that you here and what you trying to accomplish in this life while you here before you leave. I believe that if it starts there, we can build something solid. We can build a solid foundation. That foundation today, as I have already told you, instead of building you up, let's just knock everything down. Let's just get rid of everything. Let's just start over. Let's just free our mind. Let's just free our mind from the responsibility. Let's just free our mind from the role. Let's remove the son, the daughter. Let's remove the auntie, the uncle. Let's remove the mama, the grandmama, the grandfather. Let's remove that and let's just join in as one. Let's just just come in as the Spirit. Let the Spirit lead you. Let the Spirit move you. Let the Spirit heal you. What am I saying? Your mind takes direction from you. But if you never step outside of yourself and guide yourself, right, and direct yourself and tell yourself to heal yourself, then you will interfere with your healing and your deliverance. Many people are connected to you, but they connected to you for a reason and a time as such. But for some of us, we got to get out of ourselves. We got to go around ourselves. We got to get over ourselves. And when it becomes bigger than you, then you will understand why is it so important that we fulfill this mission. Many of us, we are full of potential. And I don't want to leave this earth without accessing that. You fool, you was built to be a wife. You was built to be a husband. You was built to be something amazing. It's not too late to be what you might have been, whether that's a business partner, right? Maybe you had the wrong business partner at first. Maybe it was your fault. Maybe the reason why you don't have solid friends because you ain't took the time out to learn how to be one. Well, I know it's easy to blame them, but how about we take all that attention, all that energy that we placed on someone else who harmed you, who hurt you, who touched you, and they don't owe you anything. Let's free them from their debt. Yay. So that your debt can be free, right? Now you're taking ownership. This is where we plug in at. This is I Am My Life Coach. I Am My Life Coach is a mental health self-awareness tool. The more you say it, the stronger you become mentally, the stronger you become spiritually, the stronger you become physically, financially. It puts everything right at the palm of your hand, understanding that every choice you make gonna dictate a piece of your life. It's gonna turn your life, but it shouldn't twist your life. It should not. It shouldn't spin out of control. You shouldn't lose control. You shouldn't be remote control because we understand value. Remember, the creator knows the value of the creation. Many of us, we should know the value of what we participating in because we creating it, right? No one walks away from something that has value. But for many of us, we haven't built the value. We haven't put the value. We're undervaluing ourselves, right? You could see someone, right? Or you can meet someone, right? And he can have a master's degree, credit together, everything is in order. That's value. But if you meet this man, and this particular man, being that you are a woman, you meet this man, you got to put value on what you met, but on what who you dealing with. But if you don't handle this man the proper way, it will show your value. You're not able to spot value because you're trying to you're doing things just how you have always done things, right? And you see, when you want something bigger, when you want something better, when you want something greater, you're going to have to be willing to go first. You're going to have to be willing to give more. You're going to have to be willing to open up. Why? Because if you close up, you shutting down the creator that's inside of you. Come on now. What am I saying? There's no force here on earth that can stop you. As Sister Sonia has said to me many times, the devil was never given any power over any human being. The devil has no power. But if you don't use your power, then welcome to hell. You get what I mean? And that's why we're here right now. Because I believe there's some areas that even in my life that I need to sit here and build some faith up in. I need God to talk to me like a fish need water to swim. Come on, you guys. Listen to me. A fish need water in order to do what it needs to do. A bird, right? A bird needs some air. He needs to be set free, right? In order to fly. But come on, somebody could be in your life and they taking the plug out the water. Back in the day, my mom, in order to take a bath, we used to have to stick the towel in there, right? The stopper, right? We had to put one in the tub, right? Back in the day. Why? Because that's the only way the water gonna fill up. But for some of us, you see, you can't look for structure if you have a puncture is a hole. You're bleeding, right? And this is why I say to you guys a lot of the times is that healing is a must. Healing is a must, but you got to understand what bruised you, right? What bruised you was your choice and your decision. You allowed it to happen until you take the ownership of what you participated in. Even though you was mishandled, even though you might have mishandled, you still had an opportunity. Your opportunity was to be the best version of yourself. But if you came in helpless, if you came in on your own words, then guess what? You're bleeding and you're punctured, right? You're punctured. So you don't have structure. That's why you're looking for structure. But structure can only tell you where you've fallen short. That structure can only tell you what you need to do in order to improve where you at. Come on, you guys. I got to use the scriptures in a minute, but I'm trying to connect, right? I open myself up in the hope that somebody might can connect to me, right? This is how I give myself away. Some people, I'm dropping jewels to. Other people, I'm giving you some tips and some tools, right? I don't know if you have to build something. If you got to build a back door, you got to build a chimney, you got to build a window. Wherever you at in your life, you're going to have to build what you desire to see, what you desire to live in, what you desire to participate in. But see, we come into things and we want everything to be how you saw it, right? But one thing you have not seen is yourself. You haven't seen you. I talked on 5 o'clock wildfire. I said that there's a you, right, in me. So I have to deal with the you in me. See, a lot of times somebody will say, hey, listen, I'm talking to you. But I'm not really talking to you, because when I say you going to say who, me? No, I said you. Well, you ain't talking to me. Well, what am I saying? There's a you in me. And it's your job to deal with the you that's inside of me. See, you have a you in you. And until you address the you in you, then you will do something. And then the other individual. Okay, I hope you understand where I was going. You have to see the broadcast to really get it. But there is a you in me that I deal with. And that's how we step outside of ourselves. We transport outside of ourselves. We get up outside of ourselves, right? So I want to flip the script, and I want to give you a word that really supports some of the things that's hindering us, that has us underperforming, right? Proper preparation prevents poor performance. I stated we're underperforming, right? And that's because a lot of times we've seen everybody else do it, but it's your time to do it your way. But you're trying to repeat or recycle somebody else's way. It didn't work for them, but you want it to work for you. It will not work. Everything has to be original, right? That's what faith is about. So I'm going to show you a few things that I discover. I do like to read. I'm going to take it a different route, a different way, right? I'm going in the NIV real quick. I want to hit you with this and get up off of here. And I appreciate everybody that took the time out, right? So watch this. 1 Timothy 1, check this out. 1 Timothy 1, right? Let's go here in the scriptures. I'm in the NIV, so you guys will know, right? 1 Timothy 1, where is it at? I went and located something that I knew that I was walking this thing down. Oh, okay. Wait. What's going on, Light? How are you? 1 Timothy 4. Oh, it's in a message. Oh, yeah, it's in a message. 1 Timothy 4 message, right? Check this out. That's why I couldn't find it. 1 Timothy 4. 1 Timothy 4 message. Listen, I could tell you about money. I could tell you about businesses. I could tell you about all those things. None of those things is the issue. I'm going to show you what the issue is today so that we can stop underperforming and we can just restart everything, starting with the bare minimum. This is how we get back online. This is how we get back going, right? So watch this. 1 Timothy verse 4, 11, right? It says, get the word out, right? Get the word out. So it wants you to, it's stating, get the word out. Teach all these things and don't let anyone put you down because you are young. What am I saying? A lot of us have stayed under the leadership and the direction of someone else. You're still performing based on your ancestors, right? Many of us, we're in trouble because your grandfather, your grandmother, whoever else, your teacher, whoever else from school, from previous in your past, right? Their teaching and their programming is working so effectively that it trapped you like a bird, right? So think of a bird inside of a cage. A bird was meant to fly, but since you wasn't ready to fly yet because you never flew in cold weather, you never flew in windy weather, you never flew in rainy weather, right? And you looked at real pretty and cute, right? So we put you in a little cage, and you only grew to the length of the cage. So now you in a cage. So many of us, we are cage birds, like a fish, goldfish, right? Instead of being out in the ocean, amongst your other fishes, instead you inside of a fish bowl sitting there on a counter, or you in a little aquarium at the house, right? And somebody every day got to come and put a little food in there for you. But guess what? If you was put in the right arena, you will be able to do the right thing. Many of us been disabled. So what it says here, don't let anyone put you down because we are young. I believe when it says young, it's not talking about age. It's saying that we're young because we really want to get out into the world and experience things. But we did that and we got error. We tried things and we got hurt. We participated in stuff and we got disappointed, right? Many of us want more out of someone else than you want out yourself. Today, I'm asking that we can flip the script, and today you put all your attention back on you. There gonna be some things you can go back and change. There gonna be some things that you can go back and change your confession. Meaning, I might was hurt in this relationship, but I realize now that I was more, or I didn't give what I should have gave. Come on now, I can't give what I don't have. Let's go. If you need more of you, then you're gonna have to find more in you to give more of you. But see, some of us, we look for more in others, right? We look for more in others. And when we can't have access to certain areas because it's a violation, we end up walking away from possibly an amazing relationship, right? The relationship is where God's work takes place at, in the relationship. It doesn't matter what relationship, family, friends, significant others, whatever relationship, there should always be respect. Thank you for the fire that's coming up right now. Somebody's listening, or somebody's coming in, somebody's turning the light on. But when you see fire, understand power and fire. Fire lights up things. Fire burns things, right? God is fire. Let's go. And when you're talking about by power, by fire, that means you got enough fire in you to light your own fire, so that you can see your tomorrow, you can see the days ahead. And for some of us, when you light your fire, you can see the mistakes and the errors you made, or you can see the errors somebody else made, but it ain't for you to say anything at that point. Come on, you guys, let's go deeper. We on First Timothy 4, right? And I'm just walking this thing down. It says that he wants you to teach things, right? Now watch this. Teach believers with your life. Stop right here. It says teach believers with your life. For many of us, we ain't even owned our life as of yet. See, we're still in a relationship, right? It ain't until you denounce or renounce, either one, right? A situation or a relationship, and now you claim you single. But how did you become single? When you just a regular person, we're just a person, right? You claim a family, but do a family claim you? No, a family is a group. That's a group word. An individual will have to claim you. See, there's people out here that's in your family, got the same blood as you, but you don't even know them. They in your bloodline, right? They in the community, right? But you don't know them. And these children these days, you could put one nephew or a cousin with another cousin. I just seen this happen. I said, go play with your cousin. They said, I don't know them. I'm not playing with nobody I don't know. Listen to me. What if we had the same mentality now, right? You know how back in the day you used to be able, this your third cousin, this your aunties. You remember your mama's sister, cousin, husband, cousin, brother? That's their kid. And you looking like, Now you walking around here with this stranger talking about you family. Come on now. If you wasn't in grandma's house, right, and you didn't grow up at grandma's house, then we ain't family. Because anybody that was in grandma's house, that was family. Now anybody that's an add-on, I can't remember your name, then we're gonna have some problems because it just doesn't work that way right now in this day and time. Things is moving quickly right now. Laws is changing, people is changing, the way we do business is changing, things is changing, but God is the same. But if you still doing things the same, then that go the problem right there. Come on now, we're looking for a change. Watch this. It says, teach believers with your life by word, right? By your words, by your demeanor, by your love, by faith, right? By integrity. Everything is back on you now. This is protocol. This is I Am My Life Coach. This is ownership now. You have a responsibility. Why are we addressing this on the Mighty Monday Meltdown 2.0? I'll show you because I'm trying to show you how to get to this money. I'm trying to show you how to make your life better. I'm trying to show you how to get greater at living on this place called Earth. Earth is Earth, right? But we can change the way we think. And when we change the way we think, everything around us will change. Watch this. Let's go deeper, right? It says, stay your post, reading scriptures. Listen to this. Giving counsel, teaching, and that special gift of ministry you were given with the leaders of the church. Laying hands. Now watch this. 15:16. Cultivate these things. That means become more intimate with these things, right? We just going in depth, you guys. This is a basic conversation, but this is not a presentation. This is a basic conversation. I need this more than you do, right? So let's talk. Let's go deeper. Light your fire. Watch this. It says the people will all see you mature. Stop right here. They need to see you mature, not you trying to see if they're mature. What am I telling you? I'm saying it's such an inside job that somebody should be complimenting you even when you ain't looking for a compliment. The way you handle yourself is very important. The invisible crown, which is we consider to be the invisible crown army, means two things. It represents character and it represents your attitude. Your character is something that we need to work on because that right there, this is what's going to get you favor. This is what's going to get you favor. This is what's going to get you blessings. The way you handle you is so important. Don't worry about the way somebody else handle you. It's how you handle you. You see, many of us, we lose it at this one because we get upset because we're giving power to other individuals. I don't like the way they handle me. I don't like the way they talk to me. And then you be angry. No, it's the way you handle you. That's what's important. Invisible crown represents two things. One of those things is character. The other thing is attitude. Your attitude determines your altitude. How high you go, how high you fly, how much fire, how much power you have is based on your attitude. I just only hope that for some of you, you don't allow somebody to change your attitude or take you out of position because they never was in a position. You gonna have the adversary all the way around you advocating, always saying something. Everybody is not finna sit here and be in complete silence to accommodate and please you. You're gonna have to come get what you need in the midst of the marketplace, in the midst of YouTube, in the midst of social media world. We're transporting right now. When we open up this broadcast and that thing say we live, it's shooting a signal out there. Aliens might pick this broadcast up, okay? All I'm trying to express to you is somewhere around the world, people are patching in, and no matter what they patching into, you here to get what you need. And if they coming into your signal, then you make sure that they don't leave with what you should actually be receiving yourself. Don't let somebody else get it and you lose it. Make sure you get what you're supposed to get. Let's go deeper now because I don't even want to play around with this thing I have right now. You know, I really love when I get into my word, right? And I got Sister Sonia here. So I got to give you this one, you guys. This one is very, very, hold on. This one is very important. How did I not get that one either? Okay, so I got to switch it real quick, and I want you to journey somewhere with me real quick, right? Which one is this one? Timothy 4. I did Timothy 4, right? Okay. Now, go to 1 Timothy 5. Timothy 5. Timothy 5. This is a walk. I cannot play with you on this one. This is serious because we need something to point the reference to, right? I just want to show you one thing in Timothy 5. Timothy Timothy 5:7, right? Timothy 5:7 states, give the people these instructions so that no one may be open to blame. Meaning you can't blame anyone, right? Now watch this. Anyone who does not provide for their relatives, listen to me, for their relatives. Now I'm not saying it should just be money. For many of us, it's really advice, it's really direction, it's really instructions, it's really how it works. See, many of us, we're failing and we're underperforming because we don't fully understand how it works. How your power works is important, right? That's why we're taking a time out. So it says, verse 8, anyone who does not provide for their relative and especially for their own household. Now listen to me. If you don't provide for your relative and your own household, that means the people you know has denied the faith. Has denied the faith. This is why it's important to have a little word. Somebody call me Kanye. Oh my God. If I hear this one more time. Listen, it says you denied the faith is worse than an unbeliever. Someone who does not handle your internal situation, the things you're willing to do, how well you're willing to perform amongst the people that you are comfortable with, you have denied the faith and you're worse than an unbeliever. It's one thing to have somebody not believing at all, right? And believe me, a lot of them show up around all the time. They not believing because they don't understand how it works. No one chopped it up for them. No one made it simple for them. So it's hard to believe in something when I haven't seen this thing work for me, right? But when people take the time out for me, I have to be ready. I have to be wanting it. I have to have a thirst. I have to want to know how it works. I want to get it together for myself. Forget trying to get it for somebody else. Many of us, we'd rather go seeking somebody for somebody else, but you won't seek God for you, right? You won't seek God for you. So I wanted to stop and just give you this one thing. It said, if you deny the faith, right? You deny the faith is worse than an unbeliever. Now watch this. This is where it kind of wiped me out. Like when I say wipe me out, I really mean wipe me out. Go to Ecclesiastes 2. Ecclesiastes 2. Now watch this. I've been doing my research, you guys. So I've been up all morning trying to get something together because I'm trying to figure out what do we need to do now, right? What do we need to do now in order to make it happen for us, right? And go down to verse 26. Now watch this. Verse 26. With Ecclesiastes 2, verse 26. To the person who pleases him, God gives wisdom. Listen to that. To the person that pleases him, God gives wisdom. Wisdom is the experience, right? He gives you experience, meaning he adds it to you, right? But you got to get this word. This word knocked me out right here. It says, God gives wisdom, knowledge, and happiness. And happiness. But to the sinner, he gives the task of gathering and storing up wealth to hand it over to the one who pleases God. You got to hear this one. But you got to hear this one this time. Let's switch this again, you guys. I'm just keeping it real right now. Please light your fire one more time for me. If you hear and you understand what's going on, I need you to help me real quick. Help me with this fire because I need people to realize and recognize something is about to happen right now. A transformation is taking place right now. I feel it. I see it. I'm here to give it to you. One thing can change everything. And I don't want somebody else to mess up what you're supposed to receive right now, right? If you go look at the message translation, right? Same chapter, same script, same verse 24 through 26. It says the best you can do with your life is have a good time. Now watch this, right? a good time, and get by the best you can. Now listen to this, the way I see it. Now watch this. Let's go down a little more. The way I see it, divine faith, right? Whether we feast or fast, it's up to God. Listen to this. God may give wisdom and knowledge and joy to his favorites. I didn't know God had favorites. Let me say this again. God will give you wisdom and give you knowledge and give you favor and give you joy to his favorites, right? Right, listen to this. But to the sinner are assigned a life of hard labor. What is hard labor? Hard labor meaning I gotta work, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta work, I gotta work, I gotta work. As soon as you get a paycheck, right? It says hard labor and ends up turning their wages over to God's favorites. Wait a minute. Let me try this again. Let's try this again. It says, God may give wisdom, knowledge, and joy to his favorites, Sister Sonia. But sinners are assigned. What is sin? Sin is ignorance. Those that don't know how it works, that will be considered sin. When you don't know how to access your power, when you don't know how to go after God to get the things you need, which is self-empowerment, that's why it's called self-empowerment. Well, then you're considered a sinner. Are assigned a life of hard labor and end up turning their wages over to God's favorites. Nothing but smoke and splitting into the wind. I didn't even know that you can be God's favorite, right? Now, some might ask, some might question, how do you become God's favorite? Now, if this message ain't for you, I understand, because it's definitely for me. Because I have to chase them down. I have to figure this thing out. I got to find out how this thing works. And then when I find out how it works, I have some people that I would love to share this with, right? Go to verse Hebrews 11 right now. I'm just teaching a little bit right now. Hebrews 11. Let's go here because I'm already in a whole nother place right now. So we can stop begging and constantly going, God, this God. You got to find out how to become the favorite, right? Hebrews 11. Watch this. This is how you become a favorite, right? Oh man, something else jumped up on my screen. Hold on. NIV, right? Verse 6. And Hebrews 11, verse 6. And without faith, it is impossible to please God. For many of us, let me just let you know, I have two down many things in my life, right? I done two down strongholds. I done two down altars. I done two down generational curses. I done two down patterns. I call it learn, unlearn, relearn. What you learn is self-realization. When you unlearn it, that's called self-discovery. When you relearn, like we're doing right now, this is called self-recovery. So let's have a self-recovery moment, right? If you're looking at Hebrew 11 and you're looking at verse 6, it says, and without faith, right? Without faith, it is impossible, not possible, impossible to please God. Stop right here. Please God, listen to this, because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists, right? So when you want to please God, in order to be a favorite, you must have faith, right? You must have faith. Faith is when you have an idea, when you have a vision, when you see something and you trust in the process. We're underperforming because you should have faith in what you give. You should have faith in what you say. You should have faith in how you display God's characteristic traits and the different type of things that resides inside of you, that when somebody sees you, they see God in you, right? They don't really see the fleshly side of you. They see the spirit that lives in you, that operating in you, right? That's how you become God's favorite. To the favorite, he gives the joy. He gives the happiness. He gives the wealth, right? To the favorite, he gives you wisdom. But where do he get, this is where the finances come in at. Where do he get your finances from? He takes it from the sinner. He takes it from the ignorant, right? He takes it from those that don't understand the power that you possibly possess. We wasn't here so that we can be poverty stricken. We're not bound to that. Prosperity is what we want. The way we talk, when you become you, the world will compensate you. How much value do you add to what it is you want to participate in? Going to be very important. If not, then you're going to go looking for someone else. You're going to be looking for someone else because that value that you're supposed to present it did not appear. You didn't show your worth, right? You didn't show that you're worth sticking around for. You didn't show that you have what it takes in order to fulfill a vision. What are we running to? Where are we running from? Come on now. A lot of us, we're speaking words, and those words has put you in a shelter. It done put you in jail, right? Verse Hebrews 11. Somebody better light some fire now. Come on now. I can't be the only one over here sweating, okay? Let's light some fire. Hebrews 11, verse 6. And without faith, it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists, and he rewards those who earnestly seeks him. He rewards. That means we can stop trying to feel bad that we lack something. We don't have to be jealous. Have you ever came into contact with someone and you wondering like, wow, they got this, they got this, they got that. Oh, wow, right? And all of a sudden something happens. God just takes them off the earth. Not that you wanted this to happen, right? He makes it, first they got to labor to get this wealth together. Then God takes it from them and then give it to the ones that has the favor. I believe that we can be the ones that have the favor when we have faith. And if you don't have faith in anything else, you better have faith in you. And if you have faith in you, then somebody will believe you because you believe you. I believe that when you believe you, then everybody around you will start believing you because you can stand on it. Why can you stand on it? Because everything you do has value. How do you know it has value? Because you built it. When you build something, you understand something. When you fully heal, you understand what it took for you to fully heal. But if you constantly blaming somebody, the fact that you got wounded, then truth be told, they didn't wound your heart. Your mind was already wounded here. And that's why when your head, let me start over. When you're wounded psychologically, you will continue to blame people. Every time it comes down to giving up something, the words will never come out, right? You couldn't give because soon as you get to this area, something is blocking you. Something is sitting on you. Something is spoken over you. That word that was spoken over you, I ain't never doing this again. I'm done with this. I'm done with that relationship. You did not manage a relationship and you walked away from something and you did not properly dismantle what you built up, and it still has a hold on you. And now you're trying to continue where you left off at with someone else. Unfortunately, you built 5 levels over here and you had another relationship, you built another 3. If you would have stayed, that would have been 5 plus the 3, but you needed to take that 5 down and start from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that when you got to your new relationship, it'll be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that didn't work. Then you had to take that 10 back down. And when you move to the next relationship, you got in, it would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. What am I saying? I'm saying that you have to properly dismantle what you put together. I did not say dismantle the person. We keep trying to dismantle people, telling them what their problem is. If you don't tell them what their problem is, you also got to stick around to get an answer. You can't see a problem and then run. But if God gave you the eyes to see the problem, then he gave you the eyes and the heart to come up with the answer. But what am I saying? I'm saying, why are we here? Why are we doing this? Why did we come together? Is it to evaluate one another, or is it to partake in something, in the building of the kingdom, the building? See, some of us, we just want to walk in a building. We just want to go find a house. But for many of us, the leaders that's built on ownership, you're going to have to build what you have to build from scratch. That's the only way you're going to understand how it works. You're going to have to build it from scratch. If not, you're going to keep looking for help from other people who need help as well. If I'm going to God, then hey, I got to teach you how to go to God too, because God say 2 is better than 1. What am I saying? I'm saying, remember them chords at the beginning? And I said 3 strings is not easily broken. First off, you got to tell me why you ain't got no string, why you ain't got no cord, and who you plugged in, because what you plugged into can affect my system. Why do I know this? Because in the scripture, it says Bad company corrupts good character. That means I work too hard on my character to sit here and become corrupt amongst people, amongst others who hasn't done the work now. And now I'm amongst the people, right, who should be receiving my work. But instead, I'm down here with them right now and they can't see me, right? Because we in the same arena, right? And I'm sitting here I'm called to do something bigger, better, and greater in those that are around me, but they're not receiving the work. Why? It's because they're looking at me and they saying, you're just like me, based off of what? Based off of instincts, based off of what we see, right? Based off of what we see, not what we know. So I wanted to make sure if you're going to highlight anything, highlight is by faith, right? Without faith, it's totally impossible to please God. But if you go back to Ecclesiastics, what was that, 2? Ecclesiastics 2, yeah, 2. And you take another look at this thing, it says, to the person who pleases him. That's what you need to see. To the person. It did not say to the group. It didn't say to the family. It says to the person that pleases him. The only way to please God, you just read that, is by faith. It's by faith. The only thing you're going to put your faith in is what you build. What am I telling you to do? In suggesting, I started personal growth, personal development, self-empowerment. When you empower yourself, you will see yourself and everything around you will start changing around you because now you're going to become self-aware of the role you play. Knowing what not to say is just as important as knowing what to say. Many of us, we really need to be quiet around some people and yet we talk. For others, we should be talking around these people, but instead we're doing a lot of listening. When it comes down to your relationship, one of the most powerful relationships you ever gonna have is the one with you and your creator. If you gonna be the creation, then you gonna need a creator. If you gonna be the creator, then you need to pay attention to the creation. What am I saying? I'm saying if you the creator and you decide and you want to create a relationship, you better be clear on what type of relationship and what's gonna be required of you. What is the job description of you? What do you need to do? How do you need to perform? And you need to perform it because at the end of the day, that's how you become the favorite of God. Why? Because he favors those that trust in the Lord. Trusting in the Lord meaning I know what I'm doing. And when you know what you're doing, you're willing to do it in spite if somebody else is not performing to your liking. I don't know about your liking. I don't know what you do. I don't know what it takes to be you. Some people need a cup of coffee in the morning. You need a donut. Some people need to go do whatever they need to go do. I don't know what you need to do to get yourself together. Some people go spend an hour in the shower. Some people got to go make up their face. They got to go put this on. They got to put that on. They got to go through 10 outfits. They got to do this and that. Whatever you have to do, you better watch your time that it takes to do what it do. Because sometimes you can take too long trying to become you, and then you got to dismantle you at the end of the night. You got to take all this stuff off, got to sit your hair over here or whatever, got to take your face off. However you got to do what you got to do just to lay down at night. And notice what I'm saying to you. You see, you put it on so you can go out. You took it off so you can lay down. What am I saying? When it comes down to Christ, the Lord, the Savior, when it comes down to God, to have favor, you're going to have faith. And when you have faith, it's going to be in what you do. So when you show up to do what you show up to do, it will be right here in verse 26. To the person who please him, God gives. Here you go right here. This the kicker. God gives. That's the kicker. God gives. And for many of us, if your heart has been turned by what you see, then turn your heart back and close your eyes and see yourself to bigger, better, greater place. What am I saying? I'm saying that it's an inside job and what you see could have thrown you off. What am I saying? I'm saying at once upon a time we lived off of instincts. What is instincts? First what is instinct? Fleshly desires. What is fleshly desire? Ego, earthly grounds only, or easing God out. That means when I put my faith to the side, right? Remember, it just said it right here, to please God, the person who pleases him, right? But to use your ego, ease God out, that means I got to go off of my ego now based off of what I see. And many of us, we use what we see to dictate what we do. We looked at what we see to dictate how we feel. I feel like you're not this. I feel like you don't want to do that. I feel like I'm not good enough. That's because you on E when it comes down to the spiritual gift that only God can provide you with. He emptied you. And for some of you, you should be glad that he emptied you so you can deal with the subject matter. So now that he can fill you up with what you need. What am I saying? In order to fill you up, you got to fix what's been messed up for so long. And that is, we need to get you in the right seat. We need to get you active. We need to get you enabled. We need to get some of the old things uninstalled and reinstall some of the things called you. Some of the things called you, because there's a you that needs to be addressed. There's a you that needs to be accountable. There's a you that needs to be responsible. What am I saying? I jump to the outside, but I'm talking to the you that's inside of you. And I'm telling you that you need to ground yourself. You need to get self-control. You need to open up your eyes and recognize ain't nobody coming to save you but you. What am I saying? There's another voice that's talking right now. And I want to make sure as I'm working it the best way I can that you can pick the flow up. Just get the flow. It ain't for everybody, but it is for somebody. And I pray that that somebody is able to get this message. This message is linked to your financial abundance. This message is linked to your bigger, better, greater. This message is linked to how you become God's favorite. It says to the person who pleases him. The only way to please God is by faith. That's what you just read. I'll read it one more time. To the person who pleases him, God gives wisdom. There go wisdom. You don't have to ask for it now. It's going to be given. See, a lot of times people say, you got to ask God for something. Guess what? You ain't have, it didn't say you had to ask right here. No. You don't have to ask. This one says, to the person who pleases him, God gives wisdom, knowledge, and happiness. It's nothing like knowing what you know, right? When you know that I did what I'm going to do, then my job is to do it just so I can say, didn't he do it? Didn't he do it? Didn't God do it? See, when God do it, you can't even take credit because you know God did that, right? You know your old self you wasn't half hood, you was all the way hood, right? And when it came down to half holy, no, you wasn't never holy, because some people be like, I ain't perfect, right? God never asked you to be perfect. He told you to be righteous, right? He said be righteous. But see, there is, at least we half and half, right? At least there's some me still left in me that I can deal with me, because he didn't destroy me, or it'll just say whole holy, right? Whole holy, right? No. I'm half hood because I'm still here. I'm still on ground. It's called selfhood, right? Selfhood. Hope you guys getting this. My fire done went down a little bit, but we're going to keep going. To the person who pleases him, God gives wisdom. Not only do he gives wisdom, which is experience, right? He also gives knowledge. What is knowledge? Information, right? And happiness, right? But to the sinner, the ignorant one, right? But to the sinner, he gives the task of gathering and storing up wealth. Meaning you got to gather, you got to work, you got to do all this laboring. And what do he do after you done? He said they got to store it up and they're going to hand it over. That means God comes and take it from them. But they got to be the one who labor. Didn't I tell you that he uses human beings, humanity? Don't forget, it's not about female and male and female. We're human beings, okay? It states, he didn't say, I come and take it from the woman, or I come take it from the man. It said to the sinner, right? That's no gender right there. He gives the task to gather, store up, hand it over to the one who pleases God. So when you wonder why you lost your husband or your man, or you lost one of the best blessings in your life, which was your woman or your wife, it's because your ignorant self didn't know what you was doing with such a blessing. And now he done took that blessing and gave that blessing to somebody else. Do you hear me? And they gonna and it keeps going. Just like that. Properly dismantling what needs to happen so when you move on, you won't have to keep going back and forth. Ain't nothing to go back and forth on. I learned in my life, you guys, that sometimes when you leave something, you got to leave it decent and in order. And what do I mean decent in order? Meaning, I was here, but now I'm gone. But the next person going to appreciate the fact that they didn't show up in chaos or a mess because I left decent and in order. This just did not work. It wasn't ready to work. You wasn't ready to work it. It never started up. It did not have the gas. It did not have what it could have had. But it just didn't work, right? We wasn't ready. So it says he takes it, gives it to the one who pleases God, and that's what happens. You guys listen. I hope you guys, this message is coming through. I want to make sure that I didn't have anything hidden that I wanted to give you. Just want to make sure. Hold on one second. And just like it said, anyone who does not provide, in Timothy 5 that we read, anyone who doesn't provide for their relatives, especially their own household, has denied the faith. Wow. Isn't that amazing? Now that shook me. Like, if I do not take care and provide insight to my relatives or my own household, I don't make sure that my children is straight, or I'm not on a path to making sure they're good, right? It says, I have denied the faith. That means I'm not even pleasing God. And you are worse than a unbeliever. Now that's something to really think about, right? So I'm just trying to make sure that we stay in a great place, that we stay in a good place, even when it comes down to just dissecting something that can possibly be a little complicated for others, but it can we can work it, right? We can do it ourselves. And when we're doing ourselves, it's what we come up with. I had one more thing. Man, I could not find where I put this. I had one thing I cannot find. Okay, I'm going to find this. Hold on one second. I want to look for something. Governor by the flesh. Okay. Now, mind, governor. Okay. Yeah. Verse verse Romans 8. Romans 8 verse 6. Listen to this, you guys. Verse 5. Let's do verse 5. Those who live according to the flesh have their mind set on what the flesh desires. Remember, I told you that from a spiritual stand, that when you connect and you please this God, he gives you wisdom, he gives you knowledge, and he gives you happiness. That's spiritual blessings. That's spiritual gifts, you guys, right? But when you live by the flesh, you go off of what you see. You go off of what you hear from them, right? You go off of the food you put in your mouth, right? So watch this. It says flesh, but those who live in accordance with the spirit have their mind set on what the spirit desires. Desires out of what? It got to desire it out of you first. Remember the 3 chords, right? I can't look at what chord you're connected to till I first look at what chord I'm connected to. That's how you're able to plug into me. But if I was going to plug into you, then what would I be seeing? What would I be experiencing? Would it be somebody else talking? Would it be somebody else in your life? Would it be your past? Would it be what you've been through? Would it be your hurt? Would it be your pain? Would it be your anger? Would it be your frustration? I shouldn't plug in, so a person going to unplug from you. So you plugged into them, but they could never plug into you. This is what this message is about. Verse 6 is, the mind governed by the flesh is death. The mind governed by the flesh is death, but the mind governed by the spirit is life and peace. Do you want life and peace? Then you're going to have to work inwardly. You're going to have to work inwardly, meaning you're going to have to take your time and put out good music, put out good communication, put out good understanding, put out good examples using your life. That is the good news. The good news is that the captive has been set free. The good news is the blind has received its sight. The good news is the broke is now healed. Who is this? This is the you in you that's in me. So now that the you in me has been healed, the you in me has been set free, the you in me You get it now? Hope you got it. It says the mind governed by the flesh is hostile to God. It does not submit to God, nor can it do so. So when you are using your instinct, my gut feeling, I feel like that is not pleasing to God. So every time you try to use your feelings and emotions to dictate your choices and decision, just know that you are outside of God using it. That is not pleasing, which is what it just stated, right? It does not submit, nor can it do so. Those who are in the realm of the flesh cannot please God. When you go off of what you see, when you go off of what you hear, and then you perform the way you perform, that right there is what's in questioning with God. And it says, those, verse 8, those who are in the realm of the flesh cannot please God. You, however, are not in the realm of the flesh, but you are in the realm of the spirit. If indeed the spirit of God lives in you, and if anyone does not have the spirit of Christ, they do not belong. Listen, I pray and I thank you guys for taking the time out to get this message. This message was an amazing message. It was a difficult message, but it was a needed message. It was a needed message for a time as such. Listen, my name is Adonis D. Johnson. I am the creator of I Am My Lifecoach. It's a self-help, mental health awareness tool. It grounds you. Say it to yourself. Try to say it at least twice a day. Start off small, make your way. Once you start saying it to yourself, you're going to see your life transform right before your eyes first, and then everybody else is going to start saying it's something different about you. It's something different about you. And once you understand that I Am My Life Coach is about ownership, you're going to see things happen in your life because you're going to be involved in it. You're going to enjoy the dinner. You're going to enjoy the smell of a rose. You will no longer rush through life. You will take your time and you will please God. And God will find that what you're doing is pleasing in thy sight, and he will reward you with the wisdom, with the knowledge, and most importantly, with the happiness. And he will allow you to live in prosperity, giving you all the desires of your heart plus more, over ceiling above, if we can follow those protocols. Work on yourself each and every day, allowing yourself space and room, right? Let's rebuild. Rebuild who? Rebuild what? Rebuild you. Rebuild the way you communicate. Rebuild the way you display yourself. You guys take care. See you on Saturday, 5 o'clock on the 5 o'clock wildfire. That will be on Facebook. Take care. Thank you guys. Make sure you subscribe to the broadcast. If you can share it, that's cool too. If not, it's all good. Peace and blessings. Take care.